This video features an epidemic trend of wanting to become a prolific author among scientists and researchers, a trend that could be identified as a moral sickness in academia. There is a rich variety of publication habits considering how frequently an author publishes a paper. Sir Isaac Newton was reluctant to publish his research findings. On the other hand, Yuri Strachkov, a prominent Soviet chemist in the field of X-ray crystallography, published one paper in every 4 days for 10 years. And in the 1980s, there are 20 prolific researchers who were capable of publishing one paper in every 11 days. When we looked at the progression of the number of papers of prolific authors in 2010s, we found a very interesting phenomenon. At the beginning of their career, many of them had published a few papers in a year. However, 15 or 20 years later, they were able to publish a couple of hundred papers a year. In such a pattern of exponential growth of frequency of publication, we can see that the author who published less than 5 papers in the year 1980 was able to publish about 200 papers in the year 2015. Interestingly, this trend follows the same pattern of spreading COVID-19. The interest to publish more and more papers every year has become a trend for hundreds of researchers around the world. That makes me the privileged to name the phenomenon as prolific authoritis, a disease for wanting to become prolific author. What are the reasons for such a desire to become a prolific author? Is it because a scientist or a researcher becomes a victim or trapped or feels obliged under the policy publish or perish, which in turn has created a number game? Why an individual academic would feel obliged or become a victim or trapped in the race for numbers? There is nothing wrong with having more and more publications as long as it is for the pursuit of knowledge, passion for research, or service to mankind. However, the race could lose its purpose if academics are hunting for name or fame, or their passion for publication is fueled by promotion and money. To understand the impact of publish or perish policy, let us look back in the past of academic publishing. The very first publication, Philosophical Transactions, was published in 1665. Starting from that single paper in 1665, the cumulative total number of publications reached an estimated number of 50 million in 2009. Meanwhile, the number of academic journals crossed more than 40,000 by the year 2024. It means, based on a conservative estimation, there could be additional more than 10 million papers. Clearly, there is an exponential growth of the number of journals too. To answer the question if the growth follows any natural pattern, we analyzed the roles of about 100 authors in more than 4,000 papers they published. The number of publications was divided by their roles as a first author, corresponding author, or as a solo author, albeit we found a little jump in the number of their role as a corresponding author since 2012. However, the role as co-authors in their papers started to rise dramatically since 2009 and reached a plateau by the year 2015. Therefore, it cannot be ruled out that the academics were put under pressure to publish more papers that might have resulted from either research collaboration or the practice of mutually agreed authorship between colleagues and collaborators without any actual intellectual contribution to it. Coincidentally, it was 2008 when the publish or perish policy was adopted by the Ministry of Higher Education. Academics are also under pressure to increase their H-index or citations. These numbers become synonymous to academic reputations. The easiest way to do it is to increase the number of publications. In the race to increase their number, many academics are known to rely on adding their names as authors in publications of their friends, colleagues, and subordinates, albeit some are accused of being an author without intellectual contribution. Although there is a proven trend of increased transdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and collaborative research, it is also well known that there are guest and gifted authors who appear in the byline without intellectual contribution to the paper. As such, there is no problem with pursuing science, increasing the number of publications and becoming a prolific author as much as one can do. If it is for the pursuit of knowledge, it would serve humanity. On the other hand, becoming a prolific author by losing ethical and moral values can simply kill science. This is also discussed in another video of this academic discourse series. Certain measures could help in preventing prolific authoritis, such as quantifying relative intellectual contribution and measuring the author performance index. Please watch videos on academic discourse 2 and 3. In addition to that, viewers are requested to follow a paper that describes how different approaches could be adopted to quantify authors' intellectual contribution that eventually can be used to measure the performance of an author on a more quantitative manner. Anyone having fake credits because of fake numbers of fake authorship, he would do not only injustice to science but also create chaos in society.